Hi everyone, I just want to take a couple of minutes to go through some of the ideas I've seen on the Escape from Tarkov forum, suggestions that you guys have made of ideas and items that could be added to the game, and just showcase some of the really good ones that I've come across. Okay, the first thing I want to look at is bases. Now, a few of you on the forum suggested it, and you had a few ideas banding around, and what I can kind of galvanise is that it would work a bit like the base of operations in The Division. Now there, you can kind of walk around, interact with other people. I think if you had a clan, that would be a good way of doing it, you know, a chance to have like a shared stash that you could walk up to and put stuff in and kind of dish it out as and when you see fit, depending when people play it more and other people don't, and if they get stuff they don't need, like factory keys and stuff like that. I think after that, the other idea was having a firing range. Now that I believe would be a really good idea because, you know, all these gun mods and you want to test out how accurate they are and if their damage drops off or stuff like that. Having a safe environment to do it in would be really cool, and again add to the immersion of, you know, you're there in this kind of place and you're kind of dealing with these situations, and you know, having that stash and having that ability to kind of like interact with it and not worry about it could be expanded in this kind of way. Long term wise, I could see that it would become quite redundant and you might not need it. Okay, next I want to look at some of the items you guys suggested. We'll start first with the clothes. Obviously people want to be able to make their guys look unique and change up their look depending like what time of day they're going into a raid or what kind of raid it is, if weather affects, things like that. Again, all of these could be valid reasons to have different types of clothing. As you can see, we were saying like maybe some civilian stuff, maybe some more military orientated stuff, obviously. And then I was looking, and maybe even some of this kind of futuristic soldier wear that you're starting to see. Like, I think that's the Thai military, maybe something like that. I think they've got kind of gear that looks like this, and again, just making your characters look cool, this would be really good. Next, I just want to have a little look at this idea that someone put up, which was phone book Kevlar. I just like the idea that you could find a phone book, you know, and it takes up quite a bit of room. You could whack it in your backpack, but if you get it out using some duct tape and some other stuff, you could actually build like a decent bit of armor that can stop a bullet. For those guys that keep losing all their gear and have a tiny stash, this could be like a kind of quick little fix to get them back into the game a little bit and maybe survive a little longer than they're currently doing. Next, the idea of traps and mines someone suggested. To be honest, this was one of the ones that I was a little hesitant of. Obviously, maybe in some of the more open maps, putting mines down could be quite good, but I think there'll always be enough camping in this game just due to the nature of the combat and how quick you can die, that knowing that people are littering mines all around the battlefield, I think might become a bit much and might make people like be a bit more careful what they do, and they're already careful enough. So I'm not really sure about mines, to be honest. I think that's something that I'd probably rather suggest they didn't implement. Okay, next, dog tags. Now we know there's going to be unique IDs in the game for the people that have bought the full edition, and so these dog tags, I was thinking of ways that you could implement them. A couple of people on the forum suggested that maybe you could collect these and you could trade them in to get cash for like contract kills, which we'll talk a little bit in a minute. And but I like the idea that you can kind of see who you kill, as there's no identifiers in the game. It might be still a good way that someone could like finish someone off and go, oh, he was pretty tough, get his name and kind of go, oh, it's that guy, all right, I'll remember him. Or like you may find out that it's a streamer or something like that, and you know, I think they're all little cool things to have in the game. The next idea is a combat shield. Now this is different to a riot shield, so it's not really for defense, it's much more used in an aggressive way, and it still allows you to use a primary weapon, something like this, just so people could have different loadouts. And obviously with weight, like you could really penalize someone for having this, but it would be a great way for team play, you know, for someone to like lead the charge with that. I think this is a really good idea, and I do hope they implement this. And again, even coming up against scavs with it would just change the dynamic, make you want to use grenades more, make people kind of flank. A really good idea. And finally, on items, tracers. Now I noticed this in Arma 3 when I started playing it a few years ago, like how cool tracers were and how much they helped you in a game like that. And again, just with the realism that Escape from Tarkov's going for, and its night missions, and the fact that like half the time a lot of the outside maps will be so dark that you'll have to play them with night vision goggles or things like that, or flashlights, having tracer rounds would be a valuable addition. The next one is changes to the character. Just a couple of things that I thought might be quite cool to have in the game. The idea that you could actually lose a limb. I know they have it so currently that it goes black and you can't use it, but games like Soldier of Fortune in the 90s were having it so you could blow limbs off. I just think the game's going pretty realistic and the blood splatter's good, but you know, it's always cool to take a limb off, so why not add it? And the other thing is people going unconscious rather than just necessarily dying. The idea that if you're working in a team and someone takes a load of bullets but they're wearing body armor, you know, they might go unconscious, you might have a little chance to save them. Jabbing some adrenaline in them and patching them up might get them out of that situation just enough so you can escape, especially later on in the game when you're doing these big raids and you know, it's all a matter of making sure you've completed the mission so before you can unlock the free roam. It might be quite nice to have something where you know, you get that slight second chance to get a guy up and get him out, or it happened to you. Okay, the final idea is contract kills. Someone suggested that you could have some sort of kind of assassination missions within Escape from Tarkov. We know that traders are going to give quests and things like that, and killing people in game obviously is such a massive part, and to incorporate that I think it would be a great idea. And I think there's a number of ways you could do it. If you had the dog tags, collecting dog tags to give back to traders to trade them in to get discounts or to get new items would be really cool. You could also do modes where, you know, you put a contract out for say like a level 70 plus character, and you're informed once you go onto a map your target is available, and if you can get to that guy before he dies or extracts, then you know that's essentially the contract complete, and going back to the trader will allow you to get again some sort of reward. Doing this to again force people to be more aggressive rather than sit in corners or to push certain ways and to do certain things, I think again is just another way of adding variety to Escape from Tarkov. You could also do special kind of, you know, NPCs that are on a map if someone has a mission available, and you know, again, people could stumble across this and kind of influence it themselves, or if they're playing as scav they could influence it themselves, or they could know that if they are a scav then you become the target of someone who's looking for that contract, and again adds that dynamic to how you'd play that. And so again, all really good ideas I think come from such a simple thing like as a contract kill. You could have so many dynamic ways of doing it. Thanks so much for listening to this video. It was just a chance to put together these ideas that I've seen on the forum that these guys have come up with, and I think they're really, really good, and I just thought it'd be nice to give everyone a chance to kind of hear what they're doing if you don't check out the forum yourself. In the description is everyone who came up with these ideas. Like I say, I kind of expanded on some, but to be honest I just wanted a chance to kind of showcase them and hope that we get to see these in the game. So thank you very much for listening, and hit the sub if you want to see more of these, and hopefully I can bring some soon, and keep up the great ideas and put some in the comments if you can think of any more. Thanks, bye.